Aloha kakayaka e Hawaii. This is Pokalai Nui, and you are listening to Hawaiian Potpourri. Welcome to the program. Today is the 7th day of October, Sunday morning, and the time now is 6:35 in the morning. If you would like to call and share an opinion, an observation on any of the matters that I've just discussed, our telephone number here is 524-1080. Give me a call. We'll put you on the radio and see what you have to say about some of these matters. You know, the debate between presidential candidates, I was not able to see the whole thing. I saw the first 3/4 of the debate, and I had, before seeing the debate, heard that I heard different opinions on how the debate went. Some people say that Mitt Romney had won the debate. Other people were saying that it was a draw, or it was or Barack Obama had advantages over Mitt Romney. And I was asking myself, how does one judge such a debate? And I think even in the judging of a debate, it comes down to, in essence, a deep culture that the person is looking at the debate from. It's very similar to how we look at this issue of the character of a people, as had been discussed in the earlier program or earlier half hour, with regards to through the Vietnamese eyes, looking at the Fukushima population in Japan and how they deal with a disaster and the different behaviors that they see within that people, and an expression that is an expression of the deep culture that comes from that people. I think as one looks at the presidential debate, you would also see, or you would look at it through those eyes as well. Okay, and many of you have heard my explanation of how I see the deep cultures that exist, at least in Hawaii and in many places in America, North America. And that is a culture of DIE, and the other is a culture of OLA, DI and OLA, domination, individualism, and exclusion for DI, and Olu Olu, Lokahi, and Aloha for OLA. And I think in the debate, at least in the presidential debate, we have seen some expression of that, although not totally or not as clearly as I have explained the differences of culture. But you see elements of the Ola culture, or the cool-headed, considerate approach to issues, as opposed to the jumping in and over speaking the opponent, and what else, trying to make points by fast and quick statements or cutting statements. And I saw the approach taken by Mitt Romney as being more on the die side of that deep culture, and on the Obama side, some elements of the Ola culture rather than the die culture, although even he participated. And the format of a debate, and the expectations of the debate, is based on DIE rather than an Ola formulation, or at least that's the anticipation, especially of the news pundits. I don't know if I should even call them news pundits, but these television and media pundits, perhaps that is a more accurate statement to describe such folks. And oftentimes an activity is sieved through them before it gets to us, or interpreted through them to us, before we actually see the event itself. So my take on it was that a Obama tried to be more detailed, trying to be or looking at it in a deeper way. Mitt Romney was full of generalizations and refused to give the specificity of his programs, but just simply went on the attack and attacked major areas of one law or another law, or one area or another, but wouldn't give any or much specificity as to what his program would be established as. Now, as one looks at a scorecard and as one chalks down points here and there, so for the quick review and who scored a better comment or a more biting statement, things like that, I think the score would be higher on the Romney side than on the Obama side. However, if you take a look at trying to be more analytical and trying to see where the questions and the explanations were coming from, I think they were more evenly weighed, and it gives at least enough room for differences of approach, which was what Barack Obama had said a number of times. If your view is to support the economic approach being taken by Mitt Romney, then he is your candidate. If it's not, if you instead support my view, but there are different views, he was trying to say, and so that's just how it is. I thought Romney was a bit more repetitive, and it seemed to me that he was ignoring at least the rules of the debate. I think Obama also had overstepped some of the rules of the debate as well. I believe that the moderator failed in his grasp of the debate, failed in managing better control of the debate, and even though they are indeed presidential candidates, they are still your, quote, guest to this activity, and there is an obligation to have both candidates follow your very basic rules, and that is the expectation of the audience. So I think the moderator did not fulfill his responsibilities properly, and so I would give him probably a C or perhaps a D. As to the debating teams, I would give them a C plus or a B. I think in terms of preparation for the debate, Mitt Romney was more prepared because not because, I would also say that being the candidate on the outside trying to attack the programs that now exist, it is an easier task to do, because you can cite, for example, a law and pick out on those particular areas of the law that you don't like, while on the defensive side you need to defend the full law, and it's sometimes more difficult to respond to a misrepresentation by having to detail it, and then your time runs out. So I think there was an imbalance in terms of positions or responsibilities or positions to defend, in that usually a candidate for an office who is out of office has an easier time of attacking a person in office. Okay, so that is my take on the presidential debate, and I'm sure that there are many other views contrary to my own. So if you have a view and would like to share them, telephone number here is 524-1080. I think the more interesting debate will probably, or should be, on international affairs and on the issue of human rights rather than the economy. And I think we have exhausted hearing about the economy itself But the issue of human rights, I think in that area, Obama is far more susceptible to attack. And the problem is that Romney's solution would be even more egregious than the failures of the Obama administration. So Romney's proposal would be even worse as it deals with human rights, as it deals with international law and the rest. So it's, yes, indeed, the lesser of the two evils, I guess, in that case. We do have a caller. Our telephone number here is 524-1080. Let's go to our caller. Aloha, caller. Thank you for calling. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, program.
Good morning.
I'm glad you brought up this debate, although I can hardly hear you.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just say something about how I perceive Mitt Romney. I think he was very good because he was doing what he does, and that's lie. So he has been always well prepared to do that. Apparently he told 24 lies during his time on there. Now, I don't want to go through that, but anyway, what bothers me is that no one asks Mitt what kind of work he's promising, all these millions of jobs he's promising. If we listen to what he's talking about energy, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Okay. Nuclear, fracking, and coal. Now we know in nuclear, because of the educational system being gutted, we're not going to have many of these people who are out of work going into engineering, managing the sterile places where they control these dials and all that. They're going to be handling nuclear waste. And the next thing is fracking, which is digging under the earth and doing damage that questionably is causing earthquakes and causing water to turn on and burn when it comes out of the faucet. I haven't forgotten that. And the next one is coal, which requires coal mining and digging under the earth. Now this, it seems to me, will be the kinds of jobs offered to the majority of people who are so desperate they will do anything anyway. And nobody asks that question. We do know that Obama is stressing manufacturing. He has used that word many times, and he's shown it in his attempt to save, and I guess it was successful, the auto industry. Well, that's a question that really bothers me, and I wonder why no one asks Mitt about that. I think if people knew that and realized that that's the kind of work that we're going to ask our men, of course, to do, that's fitting your die early. And if you'll give me an indulgence for a moment, I was playing around with your die acronym. I know you, excuse me. And I came up with, I think yours starts with dominate and individualism and exclusion. Mine is divide, invade, and eviscerate, because those on top of the big money now are those who are eviscerating Mother Earth by digging down and pulling out oil, and now it's going to be uranium, which has been found under some cities in Virginia, I think, and eviscerate the coal. So we can see this absolute destruction, not only of people, but of the planet itself. And so that's the beginning of Sunday for me.
I very much appreciate your taking a look at it and your suggestion of a different view of die, and it fits very well into the acronym. I like it. I like it very much.
Yes, and it runs right alongside of yours.
Yes.
But I put it up because that's, well, I won't say it because that makes me sexist, I don't want to say it.
That's okay.
I don't want to be labeled that.
Now I'd like to see your Ola, your transition, or your what is that, comparison, or
yes,
what is
well, I
that?
haven't
Contrast.
worked on that yet,
Okay.
but I'll get busy on it.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's an assignment.
Thank you very much. Aloha. And if you would like to call and have any views on this matter, telephone number here is 524-1080. We'll put you on the radio and see what you have to say about these matters. Very interesting that when Romney talks about jobs and when Obama talks about jobs, they're really talking about the same thing. And sister who I just called suggests not necessarily so. Romney is looking at jobs as regards energy, nuclear power. He's looking at fracking, or the essentially destabilizing the Earth crust, and as a result of that kind of destabilizing, you poison the water, you have leakage going into the water systems, you have all kinds of stuff happening in those areas that fracking has occurred. It's not a clean industry, it's quite dirty industry, and nuclear seems to be clean until something happens. Then it's awful. 3 Mile Island and other places, you don't want to get into the dirty aspect of nuclear. So the what do you say, the possibility, I'm thinking of another word, is very dangerous, very large. The dangers behind that is very large. There's some countries in Europe that have banned any further nuclear reactors. The next one she spoke about was coal. And we've already seen how coal has destroyed a lot of the earth, and how that strip mining and the results of strip mining has destabilized communities. So is that the kind of jobs that you really want, assuming that indeed that this is what Mitt Romney is promoting as his job, at his job fair? With Obama, it seems that the job, or at least what we have seen, is in manufacturing, is in the production of automobiles. You can go to the next step and say, yes, but where are you getting the minerals to create these automobiles? You have to mine for the steel and for all of these things. So in the process of manufacturing, you still need to use that energy source. And I'd say that there's some merit to that critique, but that's a very small aspect of the manufacturing of automobiles. The major job, the placement of these jobs are more in manufacturing rather than in, as she says, what was that? Dividing, invading, or digging, invading and eviscerating the earth, which seems like the Romney solution to jobs. Let's go to our next caller. Aloha, caller. Sorry for keeping you waiting. And you're on the line. Go ahead.
Hi, Polka.
Yeah.
It's funny. It just kept on ringing, and all of a sudden, usually you hear the radio.
Oh yeah, and the reason you probably were kept on longer is that I'm not hearing the telephone ring. I think I'll just change. I think I know what I should do.
Anyway, I just wanted to comment about the debates, the presidential debates. What was really interesting is Democracy Now! Had a 3-hour special, and they had the alternative candidates on. The Green Party, I can't remember her name, and another, but they call it the Justice Party, which they tried to get the Libertarians too, but he had other obligations. But that was so enlightening to hear alternative point of view. They were really coming up with real solutions of
that's interesting.
the problems that we face, and of course they never get on these debates, you know. And they have there's this campaign commission, debate commission they call it.
Okay.
And this has been going on since 1980. And basically, they negotiate with the Republicans and Democrats to negotiate the terms of the debate, and they always do it to make sure that their two parties get the say, and then they make it as uncontroversial as possible, and get somebody like what's his name, Mr. Lair, and all that to do the to moderate, so they don't get into controversial kind of stuff, you know. So it's to do the advantage of both Democrats and Republicans, but any other party which has really good ideas, we don't get to see. And that, you're talking about, what is it, about 60 million people around the country that are watching that, you know, and it's well, like Ralph Nader said, it's totally rigged. Actually, it's been rigged for a long time for the two major parties, and so. And of course, usually it's twiddly-dee and twiddly-dum who we get.
and you, as we said before, you're forced to choose the lesser of the two evils. And yet, to have included anyone else in the debate when the reality is, and at least the polls show, and the primary or the convention having been held, that the chance of anyone else being elevated to even a chance of winning the election is so slim that would people pay attention to the debates, or are those debates really for adding more value to the consideration of what solutions should be?
Well, I think the idea with these alternatives candidates is there's other points of view that come out, and the major candidates would have to speak to that those ideas too, you know.
Yes.
And then, of course, unfortunately, a lot of people are just blocked to really bright ideas of how things can be fixed, you know, or solutions to, some pretty bad problems that we have.
Yeah, I see. So very limited avenues of bringing new ideas into these campameans.
Yeah, into the discussion, which I think is absolutely important.
Yeah.
And it keeps them so they don't really have to. I thought the debate was very boring. I mean, both of those folks were just kind of staying with their party lines. And
as if you it's nothing new that you had not heard before.
No. So, and then that's the whole idea of a debate, to really come out and really discuss deeply the solutions to the problems we have.
I like the term that you just used, that deep discussion. I didn't see it in the debate. I saw more tossing out cheerleading lines, I guess I would call it, but no real deep discussion or real human explanation of one's point of view or another's point of view.
Human. That's another one. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it was shallow. Well,
good day.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Take care.
You too.
Aloha. And this brings us to the end of this half hour of programming. Let's go to some music.
Mai ka elele o ka loko ino Pala pala anunu me ka paka Pane mai Hawaii moku o ke ave Koku ana honoa o Pilani Ka ko o mai ka puhi hewa. Aolea e kau I ka pulima, maluna o ka pepa o ka enemi, po o hui ai nā ku ai hewa, I ka pono sivila a o ke kanā.